with school zones. So again, kind of a safety as a theme here of how can we improve that. So this is a request to amend school zones. So some goals here is we want to improve safety for our school pedestrians, and to create more uniformity and consistency across our school zones throughout the city of Tyler. So these are just some graphics that kind of show, you know, at different speeds where you have a pedestrian and vehicle crash, what the severity of that is. And so at 20 miles per hour, that is much less. As you start moving that up, especially get into the high 30s to 40s, the possibility of fatality increases significantly. And so this was kind of one of the safety considerations that we took into effect. So here's just some statistics. So of our school zones that are within the city of Tyler, the majority of them are on city streets. There are 10 of them that are on TxDOT streets that are within the city of Tyler. And so that makes a difference on what we can do and how we maybe look at those school zones and those speeds. These are your TxDOT maintained streets, just to kind of give you a breakdown of what those are posted at for those school time periods. And then for our city streets, this will show you kind of what is there today versus what we're being proposed. And so this moves us from basically about 60% of our school zones being 20 miles per hour to almost 97% of our school zones being 20 miles per hour. And so that gives us a lot more consistency of people when they're going into a school zone, they're going to know it's 20 as opposed to 25 or 30. And also from an enforcement standpoint for our police department. I'll talk about some of these specifically, but again, for TxDOT, roadways, we are not recommending any changes, just because there's some additional steps that we want to go through, and also they stick very strictly to this. They will not do a speed differential of more than 15 miles per hour. So say if you've got a 45 mile per hour road, they will only go down to 30. They would not jump down to 25 or 20. And that's just kind of their policy and how they approach it. As you'll see, we actually have some streets where we're going to jump 20 miles per hour, and there's one that's 25. But you see that throughout other cities that compare that they use 20 as kind of their standard for school zones. And so this gets us more in line with that approach. So here's kind of some criteria that we put together to kind of help scan and guide us in these recommendations. And as double checking things, we do have one that we are recommending that does have a 25 mile per hour speed differential. But other than that, 20 miles per hour is the max that we might jump. And I'll speak specifically to those shortly. These are the 3 locations that are city streets that will not have a 20 mile per hour speed limit. West Cumberland Road, that's a higher speed roadway, 45 miles per hour, higher traffic volume. Where the kids cross, it's at a signalized intersection at Blue Mountain, and so that's why we did not drop that one. Cumberland Academy on Roy Road, there are no pedestrians that are out there present today, so there didn't seem to be a need at this time. And then Tyler High School, that's kind of an anomaly. Really the only reason why we have that Lion Lane at 35 is because it enters a 35 mile per hour school zone on the loop. And so that's just kind of to provide some notification as people coming off a Lion that you're entering that 35. So those are really the 3 outliers. These are the locations where we have 40 miles per hour and we're dropping down to 20. But in all these locations, we have school zone beacons. Those are the flashing yellow beacons. So that makes it much more obvious that there's a change in the speed. A lot of our other school zones are what we call static signs. Those are just have no beacon that it says from this time to this time is a school zone. So that was one of our criteria, that if we're going to drop from, say, 40 miles per hour to 20 miles per hour, we wanted to give more indication of that change so that people are aware of that. The one outlier that I wanted to point out, so Bolter Middle School on Garden Valley Road, that is posted at 45, and we will be dropping that to 20 during school time. But there is a crosswalk there within that zone where your middle school students are crossing, and so from a safety perspective, again, 20 miles per hour is much more desired. So with that, it is recommended that City Council consider adopting an ordinance amending Tyler City Code Chapter 17 by modifying school speed zones for Andy Woods Elementary, Bolter Middle School, Caldwell Elementary, Cumberland Academy, Griffin Elementary, Hubbard Middle School, Jack Elementary, Moore Middle School, Ramey Elementary, Rice Elementary, Tyler Legacy High School, and UT Tyler University Academy, and removing school zones for Clarkston Elementary.
Any questions for Cameron?
Cameron, will all this be done prior to the start of school in August?
Yes, sir, that will be the intent. So our traffic sign shop typically goes out and starts doing a maintenance of all those school zone signs this time of year. And for these, basically, we'll print up a 20-mile-per-hour plaque that will just go over that portion of the sign. So it's not a complete rework and replacement of the sign, almost just like a patch.
Anyone else?
Move to approve 03.
Second.
Got a motion by Curtis, second by McKellar. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.